Hi guys, in this pick a card reading, we're going to be looking into your no contact situation. We're going to take a look and see, does the person on your mind miss you? Are they thinking about you right now? And is there any potential for reconciliation between the two of you? There are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is the purple fluorite. Group 2 is the jet. And group 3 is the lemon calcite. Up next is a close-up photo of these crystals. There are timestamps below, and I'll see you in just a minute for the reading. Hi, Group 1. You chose the purple fluorite. So let's start by taking a look at what is this person that you're in a no contact situation thinking about you? Are they thinking about you at this point in time? Do they miss you? Okay, so we'll start with these. We got the Queen of Swords, the Ten of Swords, King of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, so it feels like you're definitely on their mind, and these are some dark, heavy thoughts. There's a lot of regret as far as your last conversation, something that they said, a fight or an argument, maybe even an energy of just being very cold towards you, very uncaring. If this person had like ghosted you, there's a sense of feeling like you should have been given some kind of explanation, that the way they ended things was kind of messy, or they could have been classier about it. Something that is kind of like it's sitting with them in like an uncomfortable kind of way. It's like a looming sort of an energy. There's a hesitation with this King of Cups. There's a guardedness because there's a sense that whatever had kind of like triggered them before or had motivated them to step away from this connection or to push you away, kind of cut you out of their life, there's a sense that they haven't brought that totally to a place of resolution. That could have been a third party. And so there's a sense that even though they miss you, they're still talking to that other person. Even though they miss you, they're still dating that other person. They're still sleeping with that other person. For some people, I'm hearing they're still living with that other person. And so there's a sense of kind of almost like feeling that to reach out to you now would just like rub more salt in the wound, and you deserve more than that. There's a sense that for others of you where like there wasn't a third party in this circumstance or in this situation, there's a sense of something as far as like this could be somebody that they would almost tell you like, I'm not good in relationships, I'm not good at commitment. Something that they know is just an excuse. It's just a flimsy excuse. The reality is this is like a very lonely person. And you were the first person that made them feel whole. You're the first person with this Ace of Pentacles ever, or like in a long time, that helped them to see that there may be another side to the coin as far as relationships are concerned. That person that was kind of like the serial bachelor, the guy that wasn't good in relationships or wanted to keep his options open, that you caused this individual to like think, hey, maybe I could settle down. Maybe, monogamy is something that would be aligned with me. Maybe even though I screwed up other relationships or people in my past betrayed me or let me down, maybe this circumstance with like you, the viewer, maybe this is the thing that turns it all around, or that is different than anything that I've known before. And excuse the background noise, that's my dryer going off. I was just doing laundry. And so it feels like that, kind of there's a symbolism with that too. There's like a cycle that's come to completion. This person has like come full circle. Maybe this is somebody that was drinking or partying a lot and they're trying to like dry out. Or there's a sense that they understand like that might have been an obstacle in this situation, something that could have even been kind of closeted, like you didn't know that this was happening. And there's a sense of like they pushed you away because it's like, hey, if you moved in with me, then you would kind of like see the way that I really live. Or maybe this is something where, they drank too much and they said some nasty things to you. And there's a sense of like, I don't know how to turn this around because I'm still partying. I'm still kind of like in my cups. I know that that's a problem. I know that that's something that doesn't match up. It's like a cycle that needs to be ended. It doesn't match up with kind of like fresh beginnings, able to make promises that I can follow through on and keep. And so this may be somebody that is kind of like, I know that I have to stay away unless I can come correct. I know I have to stay away unless there's something that I could give or something I could show or something that I could prove that demonstrates kind of like I've changed, not just I promised to change, but like I've actually changed. For some of you, this is somebody who's like attempting to dry out, attempting to kind of like clean up their act in some sort of way. And so there's a sense of kind of like they're thinking of you and you are some kind of motivation, some kind of guiding light during this process. You're keeping them on track. You're keeping them, kind of steady within the ups and downs of this process, because there's a sense of like, if anyone could kind of like change their opinion about relationships, or if anyone was maybe a stabilizing or a good influence or like a positive influence in their life as compared to like people they've dated before, other people that they've had in their life, it's you. And so there is a sense of like, I want to talk to you again. I want to see you again. I miss you, but I don't want to like waste your time. Like what they have to give at this particular point in time, it's something that almost kind of like, it would make you sort of like happy in the immediate, but there's almost a sense like it's just going to bring you to tears again. Or I don't know that I'm necessarily in a position to be able to offer you some kind of like steady energy, something with promise. But I want to, like, they're at that energy of kind of like, I see where I am and I see where I want to be. And there's like this gap, there's this divide between it, between the reality of their life and what is possible with you, what was experienced in the times were good with you in the past, what they potentially would like to move towards in the future. But there's almost a sense of like, I want to be through this kind of like closing out of a cycle and entering into this new territory, but I'm still existing. I'm still like rooted within this kind of like energy that they were in that created problems in the circumstance before, or caused them to like, freak out and run away, or, behavior on their part, things that contributed to kind of like what they said, words they wish they took back, or like a cleaner way in which they had handled the situation. Like they're not ready, it feels like, or they're telling themselves like it's kind of like, I don't know what I have to give. I don't know what I have to offer at this particular point in time that would be any different from the narrative that we've already like experienced, or maybe it's been like a rerun, like we've rerun through this cycle many times. And it keeps we keep ending up in this kind of like dry desert sort of an energy where there should be this kind of like watery, emotional, free-flowing energy between the two of you. So let's get some oracle cards and look a little deeper into this. Okay, we've got river, movement, whale, breach, and dance, celebration. Yeah, so there's that energy of partying. Somebody that, either kind of, you were offering them something serious, or even if you kept things casual between the two of you in the past, it's like they just want to party. They just want to like dance in and out of this situation. They want to keep their options open, or their dance card was very full. It may still be very full for those of you where there's like third party energies, or this is somebody that, is just kind of looking for casual at this particular point in time. That there's a sense of like, you're the person that offers them something that's beyond all of that kind of like frivolous energy, all of that just like, I'm living in the moment. I'm doing me. I'm pleasure seeking, or, even kind of trying to like party and numb out and avoid kind of like deeper emotions, showing up in a responsible way within partnership, or even for themselves in their life. There may be things that it's like other aspects of their life. They could be feeling the pressure of things starting to fall apart, things starting to like come to a head. Something's got to change. The cycle can't keep repeating itself over and over again. And if there's third parties involved, then there's a sense like, I know I got to make a choice. I can't like juggle you and this other person. I don't want to make you just an option, or I know you're not going to put up with that anymore. I know you've moved past the version of yourself that would be willing to kind of settle for crumbs. And that's all I really have to give at this particular point in time. Even if this is somebody that has kind of like disconnected or distanced themselves from, the habits that had interfered with this connection in the past, or even like a belief system of just sort of like, relationships suck, and so I'm just gonna keep my options open. I'm just gonna be, kind of like entertaining whatever, or sitting in this kind of like playboy energy, this player energy, and kind of just I'm not looking for anything serious. Even if they've kind of like moved beyond all of that, and they're like, well, that was satisfying up to a point, but at some point I have to grow up. At some point I have to admit, yeah, that's fine, but then it stops being okay. Then it stops being as satisfying as it once was. That there's a sense of like, they see that you're beyond all of that. That you have like a low threshold for tolerating that kind of like nonsense or that kind of treatment. You might have put up with that in the past, or it might have been something where it came really as a surprise to you. You found out after the fact for some of you, like after you went in this no contact, like, hey, they had other people they were talking to, or they currently have other people that they're talking to or dealing with, and there's a sense of kind of like the life that they are living. It's almost like it's no place for what they feel that they could have with you, or what you're expecting, what you would want. There's certain things that they'd have to give up in order to be able to like progress forward with you. But this is also a circumstance where despite all of that, there's kind of like, it's like that Ace of Pentacles, there's like a grain of hope within this person. Like maybe it's not the right time for us at this particular point in time, but maybe there's still hope. Maybe further down the road, not even like our paths will cross again, but maybe I'll get my act together and I'll be able to like chase after what I know is good for me. Like with this dance celebration, it's kind of like you gave this person butterflies. There was a sense of like, yeah, I've finally aligned with somebody that's like a good person, a high vibrational partner, somebody that is like good for me, or keeps me in check, keeps me responsible, we have fun. You checked off all the boxes, but this may be somebody that was still kind of like prone to self-sabotage. They were afraid to kind of close that chapter of their life of just keeping their options open to invest fully with you. But there's a sense of almost kind of like not even feeling that there's something inevitable or destiny, because there's almost a sense of just like time keeps going by and you keep drifting further and further apart from one another. Time keeps going by and they're where you left them, kind of just like dancing in place, just hopping from one foot to the other. Time has gone on, but nothing has really changed for them. And they're watching kind of like this energy of almost sort of like the one that got away. For some of you, that's how they're thinking of you. You're the one that got away. And there's this energy of kind of like you are aligned with sort of like a higher timeline or a better timeline. And there's a part of them that is like, I want to just kind of give up all this other stuff and pursue you. I want to catch up with you. I want to reconnect with you. But it would require like stepping out of the comfort zone or leaving behind what was familiar, even if that's like toxicity, that familiarity, that partying, that self-sabotage, those kind of just like empty connections, or just hooking up with people. There's a sense of like they see kind of like there's so much more that's possible. There's much more depth. There's much more substance that's possible with you, or that was what you were asking, or it's kind of like what they see. They don't just see you as somebody that like, yeah, I want a situationship, or I just want to kind of hook up when it's convenient, or when we're lonely, things like that. It's kind of like they want something more with you, but they know that it requires them to kind of like leave a way of life behind, or an internal mindset, in order to be able to kind of keep up with you emotionally, or allow themselves to kind of go through this process of like, okay, this is the ride we're on. This is the adventure. And it feels right. And it's different from what I was doing before, different from what I was doing when I met you, different from what it is that I'm doing right now at this particular point in time. But it's like their mind and their heart are drawn towards you, even if there's this distance. So let's take a look and see if reconciliation is a possibility with this person. Will they reach back out to you? Okay, so we've got the Empress, the Queen of Wands, and the Two of Wands. Yeah, so this is like fiery, passionate energy. It feels like this person, because of where they are, I'm almost drawn to the idea of like the Two of Wands is compared to the Queen of Wands, or even like the Two of Wands is compared to the Empress. It feels like something that they may reach out to you and, you know, they just want to hook up. They're reaching out to you in kind of like, you know, a passionate energy and like a sexual kind of energy, sexual way. You know, something where it's almost like that's the most that they could kind of offer. That is that Ace of Pentacles right there that he's holding this hand. Like, this is the most that I could give you. I want to give you the world, but all I can really give you is, you know, like a good time. You know, temporarily. And so for some of you, that may be something that it's kind of like, okay, that's what I'm looking for in this situation. That's a start. We'll see where that goes. Or, you know, for others of you, though, it feels like with this Empress, it's kind of like, yeah, I might have settled for that at one point in time. That could have been the cycle with this person as well, is, you know, they kind of like disappeared and then they're showing back up when they're lonely. And then there's all this passion. But then when things start to get serious or start to get emotional, they duck out again. And so there's almost a sense of kind of like you've evolved and sort of like grown beyond them, or you're starting to do that. You're like looking in this opposite direction, and they're still just kind of like stuck in this sort of past energy. So it feels like something that it might not necessarily be balanced. It may be something that could be kind of like temporarily satisfying. It may seem like it's kind of the, okay, I was waiting for this. I was waiting for them to come back around. You know, I was waiting for them to kind of knock on the door. But then when it all comes down to it, it's kind of like lackluster. It's something that once it's taken off of this pedestal, once you see the reality of what this person's able to offer, or even if they say all the right things with that energy of the world, they say all the right things or doing all the right things kind of right out the gate, it feels like it's something that's not really sustainable. And then it comes off that little pedestal, it comes off that little podium, and the reality is it falls short. It falls short of something that is satisfying. This may even be something where, you know, they're entertaining kind of other options. This person, for some of you, may try to come in and kind of like, yeah, I'm still with this other person. Yeah, I'm still talking with that other person. Yeah, I'm still keeping my options open. I'm still on the dating websites. You know, I'm still kind of like chatting with other people, but I want to make it work with you. And so that may be something that it's kind of like, this is sort of that either final wake up call that you need with this person. Like, yeah, we're not operating on the same frequency. We're not on the same page. We're not wanting the same things. And it helps you to see, you know, you're all four queens in the deck. And this person is only able to kind of like meet you or match you at that energy of like, I miss you. I'm lonely. I want to hug you. I want to touch you. I want to kiss you. You know, I want to sleep with you. I want to wake up next to you. It's kind of like that's what they're able to sort of bring, you know, to the table. It's kind of like Casanova who buys you breakfast the next morning, kind of an energy. It feels like it's sort of where they're at this particular point in time. So it may be something where this is like an opportunity to play hard to get. You can encourage this person to kind of like, okay, this is what you're bringing to the table. Well, here's my counter offer. That's not good enough. You got to do better. And for some of you, because that guy's holding the world, that's kind of like, okay, there's something to work with. There's some evolution that's possible. So for some of you, it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to lose you. So the best that I can do is come in hot and heavy with this passionate energy, but you know, I'm willing to kind of, I'm teachable. I'm willing to have you kind of show me or tell me, or, you know, even in kind of the energy of like like you shut them down, you're closed off, you're standing in your sovereignty. And this kind of encourages this person to sort of step away from, you know, this is all they have to offer and really kind of embody almost like an emperor role. So maybe something where if you're patient with them, you know, you give a little and you're kind of taking your energy back a whole lot. There may be some room for growth or improvement. For others of you, though, it feels like it's something where, at least at this particular point in time or kind of in the immediate future, I'm getting like within the next sort of 6 months is kind of when you might expect this person to sort of turn back up. You're hearing, look what the cat dragged in with this little black cat here. You know, your intuition, especially if you've been in like a cycle, a repeated cycle with this person, like, yeah, they always come back around the same time. Yeah, we've gone through this before, and like here they are again. You know, it's something to where there's almost this energy of kind of like a lot might have changed for you. You might actually find or meet someone else, and it's kind of like, yeah, I wanted it when I want it. I don't want it anymore. I found someone else that I don't have to like chase. I don't have to beg. I don't have to like wonder where I stand with them. But for others of you, it can also signal kind of this energy of like, okay, I'll hear you out. I'm willing to kind of listen to what you have to say, what you have to bring to the table, what you have to show that demonstrates to me this is going to be more than just something that satisfies me for a night, satisfies me for a weekend, satisfies me for a couple of weeks, that you're able to kind of like pull a rabbit out of a hat and sort of do everything I needed you to do before, because you are like the prize in this situation. And it's almost an energy of kind of like making this person give chase. For some of you, they're able to do that. They're willing to do that. You're taking that lead in this circumstance by kind of like keeping your energy to yourself, keeping your standards high. Sort of like whatever they initially present, it's not good enough. You got to do better. I need more than that. I need more consistency. But for others of you, though, it's again, it's somebody that's kind of like they're either stunted emotionally speaking, or it's something. This could be like a karmic connection. So this may be something where this is sort of your shining opportunity, this moment when they kind of like skulk back in. You know, look what the cat dragged in. You're then able to see of like, hey, I've grown and evolved as a person. I learned to love myself. I grabbed onto my self-worth, and I'm holding tight to that. And what I might have settled with this person with before, it's no longer satisfying. I know I deserve better than that. And so that may be kind of like the closure that you need. Let's get a few message cards from their higher self and see what they want you to know right now. Okay, yeah, I'm working on myself. So for some of you, this is somebody who's trying to clean up their act. This may also, though, for others of you, be something where you're giving them that ultimatum when they come back around with the same song and dance. You know, that you're kind of like, all right, we've been there, done that. You know, I'm not doing this again. I'm not going through this with you for another year, for another month, for another week, for another day, for another hour, for another minute. I need something more. And they kind of, then they're off to the drawing board to sort of think about things, figure things out. Like you turn the tables on this person. And for some of you, then that kind of like works out to the advantage. That's the agent of change in this circumstance for the better. For others of you, though, it's kind of like whatever they may be sort of like working on, it's not in alignment with kind of what you're looking for, and then there's your answer. It's like whatever they've improved within their reality, it's still not aligning with kind of what you need, what you want, what you're bringing to the table, what you're asking for. For others of you, though, this is somebody that, you know, may surprise you. You're expecting them to come in with this little coin, this little pentacle, this little offer, and they're bringing you the world. They're bringing you like a big transformation, kind of like I'm not good enough yet. I need to dry out. I need to face my fears emotionally. You know, I need to cut certain things out of my life. I know that I can't come back towards you unless I'm willing to kind of offer you everything. And so for some of you, that'll be kind of when they knock on that door, that's what they bring forth. Yeah, we also have I love you. So for some of you, there's like a heartfelt confession that's on the horizon. You know, for some people, there's going to be like genuine change. Like they genuinely see what they had now that it's gone. You're the one that got away, and they want to give pursuit. They want to give chase. For others of you, though, this is kind of the energy of like they're going to tell you what they think you want to hear. or what might have worked in the past to kind of like gain access or entry to your life, or to get you, to start talking, have like conversation. But there's a sense of almost kind of like, for those of you that it may just be sort of like manipulation, or, it's something that kind of like, okay, they start off with this emotional conversation, or they're saying all the right things, but then it quickly kind of goes into like, okay, now it's just sort of, dirty talk. Now it's just sort of like, okay, let's hook up, let's get together, let's meet up. It's that kind of a thing that you're going to be able to see like, okay, this was not like, they didn't really like change. They're just trying to like bait and switch basically. And so for some of you, this may be that empowering moment where you like put your foot down. You give this person instructions like, yeah, the sex is great. Yeah, the chemistry is great. Yeah, I love being around you, but I need something more emotionally. Unless you're able to offer that, like, I can't continue on like this. We also have I'm ready to open up. So for a lot of you, even if this is somebody in a third party situation, they're kind of like, I don't want the story to be over between the two of us. So they may be doing a little bit of song and dance, a little bit of razzle dazzle behind the scenes to try and like find a way to almost sort of have their cake and eat it too, make everything work for everyone. It feels like that is probably something that won't align with what you're looking for. And it may be a rude awakening for this person. For others, though, this is something where it's kind of like, I see what I have now that it's gone. I want to chase after you. I want to catch up with you. I want to bring something meaningful to the table. I want to talk. I want to see, can we repair this? Can we fix this? So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got N, M, U, H, T, O, A, Q, E, I, C, M, B, P, E, L, U, and V. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Please give the video a like or a comment to help show your support. Subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more content from me. And if you would like to book a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop. There's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another video. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose the Jet. So let's start off by taking a look at, does this person miss you? Are they thinking about you or the connection right now? Okay, we have the Empress, Two of Pentacles, Four of Swords, and the Four of Cups. So with these energies, I'm hearing I really missed out. They did not appreciate you in the past. They didn't see your value and worth. This may be somebody you've been in no contact with for a while. And there's a sense that recently they've felt the urge to like look you up online. And they had to do a double take. You're almost unrecognizable. And there's something where it's like, how did I not see this aspect of you before? Like whatever you've done to kind of like, invest in yourself and your self-care, have a glow up, kind of like, improve your life in any sort of way, or just sort of focus your energies on what's working. This can even be something where like you've been mourning this connection. You've been really sad. You've been crying. You've been purging a lot. And you may think, I look really crumpled. I look really yucky. I look really disheveled. But this person sort of sees like, no, you're glowing. It's like the heartbreak is the place where the light came in or came through. It's like shining through you in some sort of way where they feel stupid or foolish for kind of like walking away from you, letting somebody like you slip through their fingers. This is somebody that doesn't, they almost feel like that you would just block them or ignore them. You wouldn't even give them the time of day if they were to reach out to you. It's almost a sense of like whatever heaviness you've held inside, and maybe you've, actively been trying to kind of like clear that, close up those wounds, create that kind of closure for yourself, or, you've learned to kind of just create peace within the unknowing. This is kind of boomeranged back to this person where all that heaviness is kind of like returned to them. They've caught sight of you, they've seen you, and there's almost this energy of like you're very regal. You're like a goddess. You're like the empress kind of walking around. And I'm hearing, I heard an earth angel. So there's also the sense of this person feeling like the looming sense of karmic retribution for even just the sense of kind of like, I didn't see your value. I didn't appreciate you. I kept my options open, or, I told myself you weren't what I was looking for in the past. And now I see that you're everything that I was looking for. You were like a diamond in the rough before. And now all these facets have been like carved out of you. And there's a lot of like guilt and regret for them being the one to kind of like hold that sword, to brandish that sword that kind of like cut these facets out of you. Or words that they kind of like, almost like words that they withheld. Like a truth could have set you free. Something where they could have been like, I'm not ready to kind of take things to the next level, or I'm scared, I'm confused. This might have been something where you met this person and they thought they were over a previous heartbreak, but it turned out they really weren't. Somebody that feels almost like they've opened your heart to the idea and possibility of love, and then they left you stuck in that energy all on your own. You took a chance on this person. You took a leap of faith. You let this person in. You opened up to this person. You were vulnerable with this person, and they turned and walked away. They didn't just fumble the situation. They kind of just like failed to take action in some sort of way. They failed to fight for this connection. They failed to kind of properly express sort of what was on their heart. They just sort of shut down. They shut you out. They pushed you away. They might have denied their feelings even. And there's a sense of kind of like, I wish I could turn back the hands of time and at least give you a hint, give you a little clue, give you some little like breadcrumb or indicator that it's almost as cliche as it sounds, like it truly was not ever you, it was them. And they see that now. They recognize that now. That whatever they had kind of like thought they were looking for didn't turn out to be what they had hoped. Whatever they were moving in the direction, it's like the grass wasn't greener. Or even if the grass was very green, it's like you were offering them something kind of like next level, where who's really sitting around and thinking about the lush grass when you could experience a love that gives you wings and you're like, flying up into these beautiful kind of like clouds and lovey-dovey energy. Like you gave them this lovey-dovey sort of feeling, and everything else has been kind of like lackluster. They see now that whatever the options are, even something where they stayed loyal to like a previous heartbreak, like they weren't ready to kind of let themselves move forward. Things got intense between the two of you, maybe very quickly, and there's a sense of almost kind of like, instead of taking a different approach, they chose to kind of like let the circumstance fall apart, or they pushed you away in some sort of way, or they almost feel like they led you on. And this may just be kind of their shadow talking, their inner critic. But for a lot of you, it feels like, yeah, there was a lot of hope, there was a lot of potential, it felt like things were going good, and they kind of just like dropped you like a bad habit. Or they switched up real quickly. And there's a sense of almost kind of like, I don't know how to untangle this. I don't know how to undo the damage that has been done within this situation, because I see the error of my ways. that you're offering me something pure, you're offering me something new, you're offering me something good. And I chose to remain very aligned with like past heartbreaks, past kind of like stale energies. This is somebody that almost might have felt you were too good to be true in the past, and that caused them to sort of like, yeah, it's not going to work in the long term. It might be good in the immediate sense, but when this person gets to know the real me, they're just going to leave me. They're going to abandon me. It's like almost like somebody who might have walked away from you rather than being abandoned. But they see now that it's like, you are not too good to be true. You are exactly what you presented as, and you've become someone better. So this is somebody who really feels like they missed out. This is somebody that almost feels like the next person that comes along, they're going to love you. They're going to do things right. This is almost somebody that is kind of like, they hate the idea of someone else coming in and kind of loving you correctly. But there's this energy of just like, I don't know that I wouldn't just like disappoint you again. I don't know that I have what it takes to backpedal from everything that has happened. They want to put the past to rest between the two of you. They know that there's some kind of clarity that is required. But there's almost a sense of kind of like, they know they have to lead emotionally, and the idea of even speaking to you, there's almost a sense of like this person would have to come back with their tail between their legs. And this is something that their ego really protests at this particular point in time. This may be somebody that is kind of like, they might be getting ready to shake things up in their own life. This may be somebody who's kind of like reached the end of the road, reached the end of the line with a lot of things that were once tolerable, a lot of things that were kind of just like, yeah, I can make do. Yeah, this is fine. No, everything's cool. Everything's fine. I'm living my best life. Somebody that might have like overcompensated with that, posting on social media a lot or bragging a lot of kind of just like their accomplishments or how happy they are in their circumstances, or like with the choices that they've made. But the reality is that's a lie. And there's something about kind of like seeing you and kind of they've missed the boat, an opportunity to kind of sail off into a different experience, a different kind of experience of love. And also the sense of they like miss who they were when they were in your presence. Like you saw through this person, it feels like you saw through to like who they could be. You saw the real them, but then you saw who they could be beyond that. You spoke to the light or the higher potential within this person, and no one's ever been able to kind of like acknowledge that before or since. There's something where it's almost like you've unlocked a layer of awareness within them. Maybe the ways in which you gas this person up, you were supportive of this person, you encouraged this person, you actually wanted to like get to know this person, you were interested in the things that they were interested in, you were excited for kind of like good news that they shared, or you brought like a very sunny and kind of like hopeful energy into this circumstance. And now that they've had a taste of that, there's almost kind of like they can't unsee that aspect of things. They can't put that part of them back to sleep. And so there's somebody that it's kind of like, yeah, it's an energy of like they miss you, but more it's like they feel like they missed out on something. They missed out on the opportunity. That you were almost kind of like hidden in plain sight. Who you really are was like obscured from them. That you were some kind of test, and they don't feel that they passed that test. And there's a sense of almost like feeling that it would take like 1,000 years to encounter you again, or that they may not ever get this opportunity again. But something that they've like seen, something that you posted, maybe they've seen you out and about, or they're looking at old photos of you. They're even kind of like thinking about experiences with you, and they're able to like see that from a different perspective. Like, I misjudged that person. I really missed out. This may be something where they've had some losses in their life, or things that are like needing to change, or they're just kind of like in a stale energy, in a stuck energy, and so they're just sort of like thinking of other options, thinking of other things, thinking about kind of, you know, a life inventory. And it's like you are a circumstance that they really regret. They regret not taking a chance, not pushing forward with this, not fighting for it, not being consistent. So let's get a couple oracle cards just to dive in a little deeper to this. Okay, we've got Animal Guardian, trust your instincts. Wise One, grow within your current situation. And Drum, dream and journey. Yeah, so this person is, they're like fantasizing about you, they're dreaming about you. Maybe you've come to them in a dream, and that, or they might have had some kind of dream that kind of like spark this curiosity, something where it's almost like they got tapped on the shoulder by spirit guides or by your higher self. And that sent them out kind of like, let me look this person up, let me Google them, let me get on their social media. And sort of like seeing you from the perspective of kind of what has changed or not changed within their life since you two were in contact, and vice versa for you as well. It's almost like they see you now, and it's kind of like they could have had butterflies before. This is almost like a stampede of elephants inside of their heart at this particular point in time. You're looking good, you're looking sexy, you're looking fine, you're looking attractive. You have come into your own, you've ripened, you've matured, and there's really a sense of like, wow, I missed out. What an idiot, what a fool I was. I was barking up the wrong tree. I was looking for the wrong things. You were that dream person. I didn't see that value and worth before. I didn't trust my instinct that told me to kind of just like hold on a little bit longer, or, you know, push beyond that fear, look beyond whatever had kind of motivated them to like feel something or have some kind of experience, but then to like stop short, to pull back from you, to go into this no contact. And it feels like this is somebody that, this is not like the first time that they've had this kind of curiosity about like what's going on with you, whatever happened to you. They never answered that call before. They never listened to their instincts. And now this is almost somebody that feels like it's too little too late. You've evolved way beyond who you were before. Or there's a sense of like a lot of time has passed, and kind of like, now what do they do? Now how do they explain themselves? How do they keep their story straight? How do they be totally honest with you about like they didn't feel prepared for what you were offering before, and they still don't feel prepared, but now it feels like that you've outpaced them, you've evolved, you shape-shifted so profoundly that you're like unrecognizable in a beautiful way, in like a very kind of dreamy way, like that earth angel that's like the halo and the wings are very visible at this point in time. Your life might have changed so profoundly that it's like who you were when you were dealing with this person, you know, before. It feels like it's almost the energy of kind of like, now I've just put myself at the outskirts of really being able to connect with this individual. Because before you had this glow up, before there was like this disappointment or this heartbreak or whatever kind of occurred between the two of you, it's like you were vibrating on a frequency, or the reality of you was more accessible to them. But now it's kind of like you've really come into your own, you've really evolved. Maybe you got different things going on in your life. You're living a very different kind of lifestyle. There could be distance, like geographic distance between the two of you. A lot of time has passed. And so there's a sense of kind of like, what do I have to offer at this point? How do I get my foot in the door? Like I had my opportunity and I missed my moment. There's also a sense of feeling intimidated by the prospect of other suitors. other people who wouldn't come towards you with like trying to make amends, but people who had never broken your heart or disappointed you to begin with. It's almost like they have the upper hand. So this person's self-esteem may be kind of shot at this particular point in time where they're just not feeling really good about themselves or very like capable of change or like bringing in anything that's like very rewarding. And so this is almost somebody that's kind of like, it feels like leaning into the excuses of kind of like, well, why would you give me a second chance? You saw something wonderful in us, in me before, and I failed to kind of like keep up with that. I popped that bubble of illusion in some sort of way. I turned out to be the embodiment of your worst fears. I opened up your heart to love, and then I left you in that situation. I walked away. I didn't listen to my heart. And so now what do I have to offer other than kind of just like opening up old wounds? So it's kind of a pessimistic energy as far as like what they're thinking about you. Let's see though if reconciliation is a possibility, if this person will reach out. Okay, so we got the Page of Swords, the Lovers, and Justice. So it feels like this person is going to continue to like watch. Now they've gotten a peek. Now they've gotten a preview. Now they've kind of like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to look this person up. I'm going to, for some people, this is like a fake account on social media that they're watching you through, or some kind of platform where you might not be aware of like exactly who is watching you. There's some kind of anonymity with that. There's like a cloak of anonymity that they're able to kind of like keep themselves hidden without revealing like, hey, here I am, like watching your content. Here I am kind of, viewing what you put out there. It's something where it's almost like they're not able to look away. But there's also this energy of kind of like, to move towards you is in some sort of way surrendering. Again, that idea of like an earth angel is coming through. So it's something that like requires them to sort of surrender to a higher level love, to understand that they don't have the upper hand, to allow themselves to kind of like have the rules of love be rewritten. But it feels like it is possible for a lot of you that this person, they're not going to make it through 2026 in this like lurker kind of energy. They're going to say something for a lot of you. This is somebody that's going to get to the point where it's just like it becomes very agonizing. You continue to look juicy, to look very tantalizing, to look very radiant. You continue to empower yourself. You continue to choose you, to co-create with the divine, to create that healing for yourself. Maybe even some of you, this person has to watch you kind of put yourself out there. Other people giving you attention, or it just being kind of a parent, sort of like, okay, you're on the prowl. You're the one out, like, I'm not just going to sit in this kind of lonely, sad energy. I'm going to move forward. I haven't heard from this person. I've given it enough time. Maybe some of you have even made the effort to reach out and they've just ignored you. There's been no response. It's like you have no other option but to move forward. And that feels to be something that really kind of entices this person. It kickstarts this person. This feels like something that as 2026 kind of like draws to a close, and so this is like no kind of immediate reconciliation, because we're like 2 weeks into 2026, but this is something that as this year, kind of like whatever happens for this person, other things where the scales may need to be balanced within, where there may be other kind of like, choices, other changes that they may need to make, of like, enough is enough. I need to go after my dreams. I need to go after my goals. I need to kind of admit where I've been cutting corners or where I've been settling. Like, is their old life burns to the ground, or, like an aspect of them that was kind of just going to sit in that energy of a pity party, or something where they don't feel good enough. Like some divine intervention kind of like helps them to raise their vibe, raise their self-esteem. Something where they might even be inspired by you, by your living example. Even if you're not like talking about what you're doing or what you got going on, it's just like very noticeable. This person may be able to kind of like see your energy, read your energy. You have this glow about you that's very different from what you were putting off when you were last in contact with one another. And it feels like this is something where it's like, I gotta take a chance. I gotta try to move forward. It's gonna be something where it's almost like they watch you kind of move forward without them, and it pushes them, it motivates them to like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna put myself out there. What have I got to lose? Because the other alternative is just kind of sitting in this energy of like an observer, and you're either gonna take this person seriously, you're gonna take this person back. This could be somebody where it was kind of like right person, wrong time before, and both of you needed that separation to come into your own, to mature, to kind of like get into your proper roles within this circumstance. That might have needed to happen. This could definitely be like a higher level soulmate. You had some karma. Each of you had some karma to burn off with other people or even with yourselves. You had to come into it. You got a glimpse or a peek at one another. And it was always a connection that was slotted for like a later point in time. But with this idea of justice, that balance, that kind of like the scales being balanced, things coming full circle, that idea of even like justice, card number 11, that aligns with like 2027. The energy of 11. That's the sense of kind of like you're this person's New Year's resolution for next year. And for some of you, timing is it's fluid, it's relative. Nothing is set in stone. It's always divine timing. But there's a sense of almost like the person feeling this pressure or the reality of like you really are moving on. You really aren't coming back. You really aren't keeping the door open anymore. You really aren't chasing them anymore. And that pressure to act is kind of like, I don't want this to be gone forever. I don't want to miss out on this totally. I don't want to have to just sit here lurking in the shadows and watch this person, watch you, the viewer, go off and have your best life with somebody else. I'm gonna push myself forward. I'm gonna follow your lead and your example and do what I can with what I have available to me at this present moment in order to change my circumstances internally or externally, to embolden themselves to kind of like bring you something that is something to work with, something real. With 2 out of these 3 being major arcana, this is somebody that goes from like an observer to like they're getting down to business. It's kind of like I'm thinking about saying something in both of these. With Gemini and Libra, this like air energy and major arcana, it's like I think about it, and then it's kind of not just I come in with like, hey, what's up? How you been? What are you doing? But it's like I think about it and I come in with like a whole paragraph that I'm sending you. I come in with this whole kind of like plan of action. I come in with full disclosure. I come in with like, I'm not just saying everything that you want to hear, but I'm demonstrating some kind of degree of personal change and evolution, self-reflection, things that just weren't part of this person before, things that are developed on account of you, on account of this situation, on account of some level of desperation. So it feels like for a lot of you, yeah, reconciliation's possible, or at least this person makes the effort to do that, but it may be nothing very immediate, but it feels like you haven't heard the last of this person. Let's get a few message cards from their higher self and see what they want you to know. Okay, and we have, I'm afraid to tell you how I feel. Yeah, so this may have been something that was like a problem in the past. It is still a problem. There's a sense like, why wasn't I honest? Why didn't I just open up? Why didn't I just express my fears? Things where they may have hinted at their feelings before, and there's a lot of unspoken words between the two of you that are still very heavy within them. There's a sense of kind of like if this person sort of, for those of you where they really do see this through to completion, this kind of like, I want to manifest a fresh start and I follow that through with action or with words that make that doorway of change, they're going to like tell you everything. This is like, you might be very overwhelmed. You might be like, wow, that was a lot. That was more than I expected. It may even be something that comes forth in kind of a clumsy way, or it seems very desperate. They overshare. It's kind of like, okay, I don't know if you're ever going to respond, but let me just tell you everything. Let me just get that all out there. Kind of do with this what you will, sort of an energy as far as like a full confession. Just have this is out of my control. Yeah, so for a lot of people, this person is going through other things at this time, or they're needing to kind of complete some other karmic cycles, have some other karmic lessons, maybe even the lesson of watching you move on with another person into another connection, or to start to date, to start to explore other options, or to kind of like set your vision towards what else is out there for me beyond this situation, beyond this person. I've waited long enough, nothing has changed, nothing has happened. That may be something that is kind of like it repositions the two of you into a place where this person like really understands, like, if you want this, you're gonna have to fight for it. If you want it, you can't just come in and sort of tease at this. You're gonna have to like go all the way with this circumstance. So there may be things that kind of need to happen as far as like shedding inhibitions, shedding versions of themselves in order to bring forth that level of honesty that it feels like for a lot of you can really be a bridge towards like a real reconciliation, something that can be lasting, something that can be mutually fulfilling. Yeah, and we also have I am torn. So again, this person is in a lot of regret over missing the opportunity with you in the past, and they are kind of struggling at this point in time to really sort of in this moment understand or create like a true belief within of like, is it possible to turn this around? Is it possible to redeem myself? So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got S, P, B, U, H, E, C, I, H, O, T, D, D, A, L, and R. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Please give the video a like or comment to show your support. And if you want to subscribe to the channel for more of the content that I put out here, I welcome you to do so. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another video. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the lemon calcite. So let's start by taking a look at, does the person on your mind that you're in no contact with, are they thinking of you? Do they miss you? What are they thinking about the connection? Okay, we got the Nine of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, Five of Swords, and the Queen of Swords. Yeah, so I'm hearing type and delete. It feels like this person has typed out many messages to you and they've deleted them. This is somebody who wants to talk. They want to clear the air between the two of you. They want to clear up any misunderstandings. And the misunderstanding is almost, I'm hearing, you don't know how much you mean to me with this Wheel of Fortune. This is something with all these little creatures with like the books with kind of the blank pages. There's like, I want to create a fresh start. I want to create a blank slate. I don't want our story to end like this. I don't want our story to end here. I want to rewrite the ending. I want to rewrite history. So this is somebody that wants to like go back to the start. They want to go back to the beginning. They want to do everything they didn't do before. They want to make up for lost time. This is somebody that is actively trying to manifest a fresh start. This may be somebody who's in a very calculating energy at this point, like almost like plotting exact coordinates, like GPS coordinates. There might be a significant day, like a birthday, an anniversary, something that is like a meaningful day or an experience or like a time of year that might have been very special for the two of you, might have had a lot of memories associated with it, that could be a little bit further up the road, but in some way with this Wheel of Fortune, card number 10, that's 2026. This is the Wheel of Fortune year. This is the year. This is this date, this event, this time period. This is kind of like I'm going to make my move. By that period of time, I want to have created movement in a positive direction in this situation. So yes, this person misses you, and they don't want to come in and waste your time. They know that also time is of the essence, is what's coming through with this Wheel of Fortune. So there may be something where, they've kind of decided you're the one, you're the person that they want to invest with. They don't want to waste any more time kind of like hiding their feelings, hiding the fact that they miss you, that they're very lonely without you. It feels like this person never moved on. They don't have other people that they're talking to. This person may be actively rejecting other people. This person may be like walking around in a very kind of like grumpy energy. They're walking around and they're giving off this vibe to others of almost like, I'm taken. I belong to somebody, even though it's like it feels like you're single and they're single. That there's almost like in their mind, it's kind of like they're trying to align with that reality of like, it's you and me. And until that becomes like an actual material reality, while we're still in this mutable energy where I'm having to kind of like face my fears. I'm having to open up those lines of communication. For a lot of you, this person like looks at their phone. Every time their phone like chimes off with a notification or a message, there's a part of them that is like, is it you? Are you reaching out? Although also for a lot of you, it's like they've given you no reason to reach out, or they told you don't reach out. They've ignored you. They told you to like leave them alone, or that they couldn't handle the intensity of the connection. They couldn't give you what you were looking for, or they didn't know what they wanted. And it's almost like they've been wandering aimlessly ever since, or for a significant period of time, where it's kind of like highly unlikely that they would hear from you. But there's still the sense of like anticipation. Like their heart kind of like leaps out of their chest, almost like, is it you? And they're taking that as a sign of kind of like, okay, I can't keep sitting in that energy. I got to say something. I got to do something. You are what I want. For others of you, though, this is something where this might have even just been kind of like drifted apart. Things were messy. Things were complicated. There could have been a lot of triggers, and it kind of just ended in silence, where this could be your sign to reach out to them. And it feels like if you've kind of gotten that confirmation in other ways, if that's been coming through in other forms for you, other kind of like signs and synchronicities in your life that have been encouraging you to be the one to break this no contact, to at least try, to at least put yourself out there. For those of you that feel very strongly about that, then this can be that kind of confirmation that like, yeah, they miss you and they would be very excited to talk to you. Yeah, they miss you. And it would actually go really well if you were the one to sort of like take that first step, extend that olive branch, reach out to them even in like a platonic sort of way, that they'd be very excited to talk to you. This is somebody who it feels like they don't want to say the wrong thing. They don't want to get your hopes up and then under-deliver. They're being very choosy with their words. Again, this is almost kind of like they've scripted something out. They practiced something. Practice like a speech they want to give you in the mirror. They've run scenarios. They might have talked to other people even about this. And they're getting all this encouragement. Like, dude, just reach out. Just do something. Say something. There's like people in their life that are like, we don't want to hear about this anymore. Just reach out to her. Just say something. Start small. If you don't have the courage to kind of like pour your heart out, just start with how's it going and see where it goes from there. Like this person is getting like encouraged to take those baby steps towards you. But there's a sense of almost kind of like They feel like they can't get through a conversation without getting like very emotional. They're like spiraling in their mind. Not even in terms of like what could go wrong, but there's almost a sense of like they've got this boldness or this confidence about them that like, yeah, I've got it figured out. I got the formula, I got the recipe. I got all my ducks in a row. I've thought about this from all angles, and I am certain that our story doesn't end here. I don't want it to end like this between the two of us. I don't want us to go off and find other people. No one else makes me feel like the luckiest person in the world, the wealthiest person in the world, the most cherished person in the world, the most complete person in the world in the same way that you do. So you're heavily on their mind. You may be feeling this person's energy around you. You may be feeling like a hot and cold energy from their higher self. And that, it almost feels like it's something that you're kind of witnessing energetically through that principle of like energy flows where attention goes. Like without meaning to kind of project their consciousness towards you, they are doing that. When you feel the intensity, when you feel this kind of like hot, sort of like they're going to reach out, I'm seeing all these signs and synchronicities. That's when they're in this kind of like they've written something like, okay, this is it. This is gonna be the thing that matters. This is gonna be what I say, and it helps to kind of like begin that process of we're rebuilding. We're taking steps forward in a better direction. And then when you feel that energy kind of dip off, when it pulls back, it's not that this person is kind of like, I don't know, I still need time to think about it. It's almost something where they're very frustrated, like, no, I can do better. I can say it better. That's too confusing. I'm still playing the victim in the situation, or I'm still kind of like pointing the finger of blame. I'm still avoiding. This person like wants to take accountability for the ways in which they should have given more to the situation, but they didn't. They either kept it too like surface level. They tried to kind of go slow and steady, and there was a sense of somebody who was very certain that they wanted something long-term and lasting with you very early on, right from the start. For some people, it's like love at first sight. But then their logical self kind of like, but wait, that doesn't make sense. But wait, hasn't everything that everybody's ever told me is kind of like good things take time? How is it possible that something could be like happily ever after? And I've only known this person for a couple of weeks. I've only known this person for a couple of months. I just made eye contact with this person, and suddenly all feels right in the world. There's almost a sense that they tried to like slow the pace down of this situation or control the outcome in some kind of way because they felt they had to, or they felt that that was the only like recipe for success, or they were trying to kind of like emulate the way other relationships with other people who seem happy and in love and stable, like things like that worked out. But then there's a sense even that some of these people who they've spoken about this too is like, well, what were you thinking? Like, yeah, we had to go through slow and steady. Yeah, we had to like, make it work. We don't always, like each other, but we love each other, and we kind of just go with the flow of that. But you have encountered something that feels right. It feels rare. It feels like true love or love at first sight. You dive head first into the deep end with that, and you don't ask questions. This is almost like people in this person's life, it feels like, that are like, you tried to use an overly logical approach to something that was almost like a rare treasure as far as an emotional connection with another person. You tried to do that in the past, and it didn't work out because now there's this distance. Now there's separation. Now there's no contact with whatever has taken place to like create that and bring you both to this moment in the here and now. But there's a sense that they're getting a lot of encouragement to kind of pull out all the stops to fight for a second chance, to fight for a new beginning. Because this is rare, this is real, this is like what everybody wants and few people have. That's how this person is looking at it, and it feels like this is how other people are kind of like, even if they're the one that's kind of come up with that idea, they've presented that possibility. They're getting a lot of people who are like, yeah, we can't argue with that. That seems legit in this situation. So let's get a little bit more about this. Do they miss you? What are their thoughts and feelings right now? Okay, we got Truth Be Told, Treasure Island, and Go the Distance. Yeah, so this person with all these little like hearts in both of these cards, this is somebody that, you're their treasure. You're like their true love. You're a contender to be the true love, the love of the lifetime. Somebody that wants to take off the masks and be very honest with you, give you the truth that you deserve about this situation of like, I've loved you all along. I've loved you right from the start. I still love you. I want to do what I need to do in order to fix this, in order to earn your trust back, in order to invest more. There may be something that they're wanting to bring to the table that kind of like helps to sort of like ease your burden in some sort of way, or like a big offer that they're wanting to present that's been like a long time coming. This person wants to cross the distance, cross the divide. They very quickly, again, like that Wheel of Fortune energy, this is something that like, this might have been a sort of like their New Year's resolution. This is the year that I fix it. I'm turning it around. I don't care what my inner critic says. I don't care how difficult it is. I don't care what obstacles we face. Whatever obstacles there are, we face them together. My logic has led us astray, so now I'm letting my heart take over. This is somebody that wants to like shower you with affection. Express all those sweet nothings that they didn't express before. They may think of you as their soulmate, or they want you to see into the nature of who they are beyond the surface level, what they're capable of when it comes to fighting for love. I'm hearing all's fair in love and war, and so this is somebody that would kind of like go to war with their lower nature in order to make sure that love conquers. This is somebody who wants to pull out all the stops in order to show you like they may have been sort of low effort or like hesitant, or again taking like an overly logical approach to the situation where the spark and the chemistry, like the moment passed you by because they tried to be too controlling of the pace and the momentum, and they see how they fumbled that. And it's something that is kind of like they've been thinking about this for a while, like I want to turn this around. I want to say the right things. I want to do the right things. And that's kept them in this energy of like at a distance, because it's never come out just right as they practiced it, as they've imagined it. And so now this is somebody that just wants to come authentic. It doesn't matter if it's sloppy. It doesn't matter if it's too much. This is somebody that's kind of like, I need to just bare my soul to you. I need to spill out the contents of my heart and hope that even if this is something where it's a bit chaotic, let the chips fall where they may, because I'm letting my heart lead the way. They've surrendered to the heart space. They're always thinking of you. You're always on their mind. You're the top priority as far as romance is concerned. Again, this is somebody that is like, they only have eyes for you. They're not looking for other options. They need to find out if it's possible to fix this situation. And until they find that answer, until they get that yes or that no from you, which it feels like this person is also, they almost feel like they want to tell you a lot. And it may be something where you're like, I need to think about this. We need to take things slowly. It fell apart before. We need to try a different strategy. Like they're willing to do whatever. They're willing to do whatever it takes in order to earn a place in your life again, or to show you that they're in it for the long haul this time. And so there's a sense of kind of like they're pushing away not even other options. I feel like this person wouldn't even consider like, oh, I've got these other options, but I choose you. It's like anybody that tries to flirt with them when they're just out and about, they're either really rude to those people to try to like, not that this is a rude person, but there's almost a part of them that is kind of like fiercely protective over the manifestation of a second chance with you, or what they see as happily ever after, where they are unwilling to let outside energies mess that up. They're very cautious about being like too friendly, even to just like casual people. Anybody that tries to like flirt with them or come on to them, it's like they give them the cold shoulder. They toss it out to sea. They're like, no. And they're not concerned about like wearing velvet gloves with other people's feelings. This is somebody that's walking around like a fool in love. They're walking around with like a, like a goofy kind of smile on their face, a dreamy sort of look, because they're actively manifesting that moment when they can hold you in their arms again, when they can kiss you, when they can look into your eyes, when they can have these conversations, not just a conversation, but like deep conversations. It's like, I want a fresh start with you, but I want there to be so much more love and romance, so much more effort on my part in that capacity than was the case before. Because this is somebody that almost feels like that is the missing ingredient. This is somebody that is taking like full ownership for whatever fell apart. Like, I should have doted on you. I should have made you feel special. I should have made you a priority. I should have cut out any sort of distractions. I should have seized the moment and protected this connection, this budding connection, the connection itself between the two of you. I should have protected that with everything that I had, and I didn't. So this is somebody that wants to like make up for that. They want to kiss and make up. So let's take a look and see, is reconciliation possible? Do they want it, or are they going to reach out? Okay, we've got the Eight of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. So this Ace of Swords is like, yes, absolutely. Again, all of that kind of air energy, that thought energy. They're going to come up with the right draft of a message. Something where they're even just kind of like, screw it, I'm just going to be spontaneous. I'm getting nowhere with trying to like mince words or, perfect my approach. So I'm just going to come in, even if it's clumsy, even if it's awkward, even if it's the most poetic or cinematic thing ever. The biggest thing, the smallest thing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to come forth. I'm going to bring something that is very special, that is very meaningful, that leaves nothing to the imagination as far as my intentions, my clear intentions of like, I miss you, I want you back, I want you, I love you. Feels like they may just be, you may even just get something that you might not have heard this from this person for a while, and this may only apply to some people, but this may be something where like all of a sudden you get a message and they're just like, I am in love with you, I have always loved you. I was a fool for pushing you away, letting you get away. I was a fool for questioning that, for letting my silly brain kind of take over when my heart was so certain about you. But I'm not doing that anymore. So here's the truth. I love you. I'm in love with you. What do you think? It might be something like that where it's just very, out of left field, but it feels like it's what you want to hear. It's taking a different approach to the situation, walking away from that energy of disappointment. All your experiences with one another, all the memories of the past, all of the good times. It's like, yeah, that was beautiful, but let's move forward and create a new future with one another. This is somebody that's walking away from the excuses. They're walking away from the energy of fear that they'll say too much, they'll say too little. They want to be with you in the difficult times and in the good times. So again, this is somebody that it feels like they are actively, regularly, daily, kind of like almost obsessing over this. Like, I want to talk to you, I want to speak to you, I want to say something. This is almost the energy of getting kind of pushed out there by friends and family. Like, just say something. If you don't contact them, I'm going to contact them. So for some people, this is like somebody is like telling this person, like, if you don't call her, if you don't send her a message, like, I'm going to. And they've pulled up your phone number. They got your email. They got your social media. And it's like, look, I'm right here. I'm going to do something. Now, you want me to be the one that kind of does this, sort of handholds you? Or do you want to be the person that makes that contact, that makes that communication, that follows through on what has been like a long-standing intention or desire to begin the repair process by the two of you? Or for some of you, this is even kind of just that confession that you never got, This is that confirmation that you never got. This is a, a failure to launch. It's a situation that never got off the ground. And they don't want any more time to kind of pass. And this isn't somebody that wants slow and steady. They want to move quick. They're very certain. This is kind of like, I want to be honest with you. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to be nervous, and my heart's going to be racing, and it may be very sloppy. It may be very chaotic on my part, but I have to kind of like, I have to show up as I am. I have to show up in this energy of letting you know, like, I still think about you. I still dream about you. I still love you. And I still want to make a future with you, to make a life with you, to make something beautiful, to make a happy ending out of the nature of whatever you've gone through with one another up to this point. So let's get some message cards from this person's higher self and see what they want you to know right now. Okay, we've got, I really screwed up. Yeah, so this is somebody that's heavy in regret that they, let their, I'm hearing my silly brain, they let their silly brain take over and kind of talk their heart out of something that was like a certainty. Like, this was an absolute yes sooner than you would have expected for a very long time, and they got lost in the details. They got lost in the logic. They got lost in, but what about this, and what about that, and what if, and this is somebody that has wanted to speak their truth. They've wanted to reconcile for quite some time, and they're done letting the overactive imagination or having to have like every little step mapped out. They're done with all of that. This is somebody that is wanting to come forth impulsively, but in like a grounded way, like they have something real to offer. Maybe it's even like a real truth as a starting point. Yeah, we also have, you are always on my mind. So they're definitely thinking of you, thinking about you a lot, obsessing about you. You may be kind of just like, yeah, this is not news to me. I'm feeling this person's energy. I feel them kind of like coming towards me. It's sort of like it backs off a little bit. Again, that's that energy of like, they aren't indecisive, but it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to hit send. I'm going to call them. I'm going to show up, and this is what I'm going to say. And they're like right at that brink, and they're like, but wait a minute. Maybe I could phrase this a little bit better. But wait a minute. What if I wait for Saturday instead of Friday, and it's better then? And then it kind of like tumbles into this energy of what ifs. And that's when you feel their energy kind of retract or retreat. They're off to the races in terms of that like Nine of Swords, that overthinking, that kind of like working themselves into a lather, getting very anxious. And then they reach something that's like an Ace of Swords, like, okay, this is better. That sounds better. This is the better approach. And then it's kind of like they're coming towards you, and then they sort of trip themselves up. That has been going on for quite some time, it feels like, with this person. And so they're seeing that like their mind is their worst enemy in this particular circumstance. They're trying with all their might to kind of like push themselves out there, which may be why they've needed to kind of like recruit help from friends and family. Like, hey, I want this person. I'm yearning for a reconnection. I love them, but I can't bring myself to the point of just like saying hello, saying I miss you, saying I love you. I don't understand. And so there's something where they're almost being given advice like, that's the thing. You've been trying to understand this for far too long. It's a matter of the heart. It is not logical. The heart wants what the heart wants. And their heart wants you. And so they're getting they're pushing themselves. It feels like they're getting pushed maybe by a lot of people, or one person whose opinion they value a lot, to kind of just like go forth. And again, that energy of like, if you don't call them, I'm going to call them. I'm tired of you and I like hashing this out. I'm tired of like hearing about how much you're pining for this person, how much you miss them, how much you love them, and yet you're not taking action. So they're getting a little bit of tough love from someone on their end who is actually like your strongest supporter in this circumstance, kind of just like just turn the page in this situation, write a new future for the two of you, just speak your truth, say what's on your heart. Yeah, and they also say, I made a mistake. So definitely somebody that misses you. They regret how things played out, how things turned out, and this is somebody that is definitely very determined to create reconciliation with you. So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got I, H, W, C, Q, T, P, U, N, R, B, T, D, H, G, C, F, K, and A. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Please give the video a like or a comment to help show your support. And if you would like to subscribe to my channel for more of the content I put out here on YouTube, I welcome you to do that. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another video. Please take care and be well.